The Golden Warrior WZ-121B is a Tier 10 Chinese premium medium tank. It's fast, going in at a top speed of 56 kilometers per hour, yet carrying a very solid amount of armor, an upper plate that's capable of bouncing Tier 10 mediums quite comfortably, and if you're using it hull down, a turret that's incredibly strong that you will need premium shells to even have a chance of penetrating. I absolutely love the golden camouflage on this vehicle, but that's not all to love, as this vehicle also carries 350 damage per shot, yet a gun that has very similar DPM to the Russian mediums of 3,500 DPM. It's accurate, got a great aiming time, and over the numerous amount of buffs this vehicle has been given over the years, the WZ-121 has become one of the strongest Tier 10 mediums out there to get. So as always, today's video is going to be a review on the Golden Warrior 121B. Currently, I do not like how YouTubers go about making content for new vehicles that come into the game or stores in World of Tanks Blitz. It's usually, oh look, a new tank's released. I'm going to make a video as fast as possible, try and beat the other YouTubers to it so I get all of the views, while putting in some decent information to help them play it and if it's worth the price. Well, that's not going to be the case for content on my channel in the future anymore. Any new vehicle that is brought into the game, I'm going to be making a full in-depth review on. So if it's a Tier 10, Tier 9, Tier 8, any tier, it will be a full in-depth review. If it's a vehicle that is reoccurring in the store, like the 121B we're going to be doing in today's video, I'm also going to be doing a full in-depth review on it. And if it's a tank that I don't think is really worthy of a full in-depth review, let's say like the Tortoise or, you know, a Tier 7 like the LTG, then I won't do it. But if you want to see content like that, then let me know in the comments down below and maybe think of joining the membership on the channel. But we're going to be doing the 121B in today's video, a full in-depth review breaking into the statistics, the armor profile, and how to play it with some pretty dang good replays of a professional player. So we're going to start off with the statistics in today's video. What is good and what is bad? Well, when we break into the DPM of this 105mm, it has 3,221. But obviously, I personally like running calibrated shells. So if you're running gun rammer, it's upwards of 3,464. Very similar to vehicles like the T62A, the Object 140, and the T22 medium. That's great for a vehicle that, again, carries a 105mm, dealing 350 damage per shot, and not your stock standard 310. So I really like the alpha on this vehicle. When it comes to the penetration, it's 257 on the standard, which is okay, but the premium at 330 is more than enough to cut through enemy opponents like E100 turrets, VK90s, stuff like that. Very good at penetrating enemy opponents. I personally would suggest to run calibrated on your Tier 10 mediums because you want to be able to penetrate enemy opponents, especially in a vehicle like the 121B where you can actually somewhat rely on your armor. I personally would suggest to run calibrated shells. When we make our way to dispersion, it's actually very good. 0.308 is plenty for a 105mm, and as well, the aiming time at 2.5 seconds, that's amazing. This vehicle has a fantastic time of snapping shells, and it's also quite accurate on the move. It's got the whole shebang when it comes to the gun. Gun depression as well isn't bad. It's 6 degrees. A lot of people are under the assumption that this vehicle only has 5, but no, 6 degrees is enough to work most ridgelines in the game. There are certain scenarios, like you're going to see in the replay I'm going to show you, where you need to reposition your tank, but as long as you understand the map situational awareness around you, you can wedge it up terrain or just use it in a hull down spot and you'll be completely fine. After all, it is very low down to the ground. Now, when we make our way to mobility, it goes 56 kilometers per hour forward, 20 in reverse, and carries a pretty solid power to weight ratio of 17.1. One of the things I never loved about the 62A is its top speed of only 50 kilometers per hour, and I've always liked that the 140 has the 56. So this vehicle can actually reach 56, which is nice. So it can get around the map, it can get out of really tricky situations. It's got a good enough gun that can punch enemy opponents. A lot of people like to say that this is a worse 121 because it doesn't have the alpha, but I really like the alpha. It's a small enough alpha that you can out-reload a lot of Tier 10 heavies. Vehicles like Mark 6s that have a lot of DPM, you don't really need to worry about and you out-reload them. But at the same time, it's also a punchy enough alpha that you can trade with certain vehicles like heavies or even mediums like the Russians. So the statistics on this tank are very nice when it comes to the vehicle overall. But now, of course, let's break into the armor. When it comes to the armor of the 121B, it's a bit of a mix between the 62A and the WZ121. The upper plate is pretty strong. It's about 228 millimeters thick, and at the bottom part about 217. And if we compare that to the T62A, you'll notice all around the 62A is 204 and 214. So it does have much better upper plate armor than the 62A. And what that means is if you use this vehicle hull down, yeah, you can actually get some very nice bounces off of that upper plate. You can also over angle the front, and you can bait a lot of shells to hit that upper plate and ricochet right off. So that's already fantastic. But let's say the enemy is shooting heat like the 62A with 330 millimeters of pen. Well, unfortunately, you're not going to have enough armor on your upper plate at 305 to bounce a heat shell unless you really put it at a steep angle, which then you can actually get the upper part of the plate to get a nice bounce. And honestly, it's not that hard to only show this upper casemate because your gun is right above it. So if you angle the vehicle just right next to the tracks, you actually can get some very nice bounces even from tier 10 mediums shooting heat shells. And when it comes to the turret armor, you'll notice it's very strong. Apart from the little bit of a weak cheek here, about 287 thick, and over here about 300s, it's a very sturdy turret. I mean, with APCR ammunition from a 62A, there's really nowhere you can penetrate this vehicle, and that's with calibrated shells on. When we compare this armor to the T62A and we load heat, I mean, look at how much weaker the 62A turret is. It's only about 300 millimeters to 270 all around. Yeah, that turret just isn't going to cut it when you compare it to this amount of armor on the 121B. So it's a pretty solid tank. As long as you can get your angles right and you can use the turret armor effectively, this is one of the strongest turrets you'll find for a tier 10 medium in the game. And you'll notice, even with the gun depression the 622A has over it, it doesn't really make much of a difference. Obviously, the armor and statistics don't mean anything unless we can actually see how they perform in some battles. So here we are in the first game on Faust. Now, Faust is absolutely fantastic for a vehicle like the WZ121B. I've got decent gun depression, very good turret armor, an upper plate that's capable of bouncing shells, beefy alpha, great aiming time, and as well, a gun that's got enough DPM to deal with anything that pushes over towards A side. And that's obviously exactly where I'm going to push my tank. Now, the enemy team does not have some pretty light vehicles. They got a Leopard 1, M60, STB1, oof, that's going to be a pain to fight. And as well, you're going to notice the enemy 50 TP prototype push very aggressive and even be a pain for my vehicle to fight. So there's the STB1, and right off the beginning, I did not have enough gun depression to shoot this waffle. So what I did is I backed my tank up a little bit, and there you go. Now I have enough gun depression. So, as I said, 6 degrees, it's workable. As long as you understand how to use the terrain given to you, you'll do fine. So there you go. That's already 674 hit points, and boom, easy shot right into the turret of that 50 TP with a heat shell, and we're already rocking in the damage. STB1, no problem. You can see that fantastic accuracy and aiming time working together there, and easily snapping a shell right into that STB1's cupola. So 50 TP pens me, and because he's running tungsten, oh yeah, that hurts. That's a 500 damage slap, and I'm just a little bit late on my tap trying to hit that guy's lower plate. So right now, things aren't going as well as they could be, but I do get a very nice tracking shell into the enemy 50 TP. Bounces off my turret, as we did go over that armor, and especially because he's not firing premium ammunition, pretty solid. Again, oof, another beautiful tap into that STB1. I bet that guy was not loving me right now. So we're doing pretty good. Nice tap again into the weak spot of that 50 TP with a heat shell. Just managed to slap my 2 key there and pen him. Now, since the STB is a one-shot, gonna push on him. And yeah, the 50 TP obviously is soon to follow with my very solid DPM and punchy alpha. So we're already at 2,770 damage in this game. You noticed where the good accuracy, the great aiming time like on that M60 there comes into play. I really love this tank. Every time I drive it, it just feels so enjoyable. So there you go. Nice snap on the move into that T92E1, and oh, boom, massive ram into a vehicle, finishing him off. So now we're catapulted up to 3,700 damage. This game wasn't very long, but it definitely showcased where it can brawl with even some of the strongest tier 9 and tier 10 vehicles and come out quite strong on top. Sure, I didn't bounce every shell. We only bounced about half of the shells. But when you have 6 degrees of gun depression and vehicles like that 50 TP were playing very aggressive, even bleeding hit points to shoot me, then there's really not much you can do in that specific situation. But we came out with a victory, showcased where the vehicle is strong, and did 4,410 damage. So I cannot complain. explain about the 121B in that first game. The second replay, we find ourselves stuck into Alpenstadt. Now, I really like this map, especially when I'm in a mobile tank, because you can push through A side, and if you manage to do it quick enough, like you're going to see me do in this battle, you can start to farm the enemy heavies, shoot the enemy tank destroyers, and pretty easily come out with a victory. So the first thing I'm going to do is go into this bush right here. Now, why do I like this bush so much? Whenever you see me play on this map, if I'm in a mobile tank or even sometimes tank destroyers, I will push to this position. Not always, but for the most part, yeah, I will. The main reason behind that is just because, let's say, bad stuff happens. My team gets YOLO'd or I see a bunch of tanks coming towards me. Well, I have the bush to give me cover, and I can just turn around, drive away, and get over to my team, hopefully having cover. That is the main idea behind that bush, that position, and that's why I always push there. But thankfully, the mediums did not really push super aggressive, and with that, there's one shell into the enemy 183. Beautiful tracking shot. That's 2 shells into his vehicle, and that's already 773 hit points we've taken off of his tank. But oh no, he's gonna back up and yeah, give us another 344 hit points there. 3 shots into that 183 and taking off a majority of his hit point pool. So I know where the STB is, I know where the 183 is obviously, but I was like, you know what, maybe I'll shoot at this guy, and boom, you can see that amazing .308 dispersion there. It's just a great gun. It's accurate. Here's the E100. Obviously, that's a very easy shot. But you'll notice the aiming time is great. 2.5 seconds for how good the on-movement dispersion is. I mean, you barely even have to let it aim in before you already have a shot on your opponents. So we are at 2,256 damage now. Pretty quick racking up that damage, judging that the game's only been going on for about a minute. So now we got the STB. But I was more worried about the 183 in this situation. I was just like, okay, I want to look for this 183. So there he is. Beautiful. I'm in a hold-down situation, only showing my turret armor, so hopefully he misses me. There you go, hits my turret, and because he fires a Hesh, it cannot penetrate me. And yeah, that's the end of the 183. Goodbye, comrade. So what do we have next? Well, we got the STB-1 in front of me, and apart from that, really not much else. They do have another 183, and I do want to be careful about that player. But right now, the STB is on my mind. I'm going to plop on Adrenaline, making sure, even if he's running Rammer, that I'm going to out-reload him, because I do obviously already have more DPM. And wow, did I get lucky. That 183 managed to just pop up behind me the moment I cleared that STB-1. Good thing I did not bounce a shell, right? So that 183, I noticed, he's still looking at me. I'm just being very cautious, waiting patiently for him to turn his tank. There you go, turns his vehicle, aiming in, boom, beautiful snap, back in the cover. I love the aiming time and that accuracy because it lets you just snap. Watch the snap here, just pull out, boom, easy shot right into the 183. So we've just cleared the biggest threat that we have, the only potential one shot and pretty high chance of ammo racking me. So all that's left at this point is an IS-4, and we have an E100. I didn't really care if the IS-4 shot me. I wanted to clear this enemy E100. So at this point, I noticed we got a grill, so I'm like, yeah, we're just going to deal with this IS-4. Can't pen him right now, but that's why we're going to turn to his side. There you go. We're now at 4,704 damage, and even though I'm going to die, who really cares? There you go, 326 damage. That's over 5,000 dealt now, and we're going to even tap one more premium shell in. Boom! There you have it. So this is the WZ121B. 5,358 damage in this battle, and it very easily showcases how just in a short amount of time this vehicle feels absolutely fantastic. You've got great turret armor, good hull-down capabilities, fantastic DPM, and because of that, I do rate this as one of the strongest tier 10 mediums for the Russian type of playstyle. It does carry. It's like you combine a 121 and combine it with a 62A, and there you go. This is the 121B. I really like the tank. Let me know what you guys think about this vehicle in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed today's review, the full down review, make sure to click that subscribe button because it really does take a lot more effort and sacrifices a bit of views when I do make this type of content on the channel. What also I'd like to say is if you're wondering what type of price tag do I think would be adequate for a vehicle like this, well, 15,000 gold honestly is not bad. And if it comes out in the future when you're watching this video for 15,000 gold, I wouldn't say that's a bad deal at all. It's a pretty decent tank for what it's worth, and it's fun. It earns credits. It's got a fantastic camouflage. So yeah, if it's 15,000 gold when it comes out, or if you're watching this right now and it's available, I don't think it's a bad deal. And if you want to try out a vehicle like this, I would suggest to get it. But that's my personal opinion, and let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. Other than that, I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.